Here's something you probably won't be surprised to learn. People don't like Congress, although that's our city council. I'm not sure why we're showing that. A recent Gallup poll shows 85% of the public thinks that lawmakers, that's Congress, stink at their jobs. Oh, I see that. Anyway, one reason for that dislike, congressional gridlock. Folks in D.C. just can't get along.
Well, here's one thing both Democrats and Republicans can agree on. Free travel to foreign countries is great, and lawmakers should know because they get and take a lot of free vacations, over 3,000 trips in the past year and a half alone.
But what about Texas lawmakers in the House and in the Senate? Well, our News 4 San Antonio troubleshooter STACEY CAMERON checked to see whether they are getting in on those free foreign trips in tonight's Troubleshooters investigation.
I went to jail, that kind of thing. But
for those who don't know, this is Jack Abramoff.
At some level, everybody's participating in something that they shouldn't be.
A former lobbyist whose notorious ways once made news.
Jack Abramoff apparently realized he was going down.
His influence peddling landed him in prison.
You had 100 congressional offices in your pocket.
Yep.
And the bad publicity surrounding his name forced Congress to adopt new rules when it comes to dealing with lobbyists. The most important change, according to political science professor Walter Wilson,
I was actually working in Congress,
was a general ban on foreign trips bought and paid for by lobbyists.
Special interest groups couldn't pay for junkets, where people would be doing more or less vacation-type activities.
But if you think that ended first-class congressional globetrotting, it did not.
There are lots of loopholes in the law.
The biggest loophole is for cultural education, meaning a trip to another country to learn about its history and way of life. Here's how the loophole works. A lobbyist cannot pick up a travel tab on behalf of corporations, but if that same lobbyist works for a foreign government or nonprofit organization, the trip is okay. The only requirement, travel must be educational. Sometimes that education includes snow skiing, golf, fine dining, and sightseeing.
I think most of us, if we think about that in the context of travel, would view it as both informative and enjoyment.
Over the past 6.5 years, Texas lawmakers have kept busy boarding flights to far-flung places like Switzerland, South Africa, and Brussels. In fact, digging through travel disclosure forms, News 4 uncovered 126 trips costing more than $2 million. Both Democrats and Republicans enjoy the free travel. However, Democratic Congressman Lloyd Doggett and his staff are the most frequent flyers, taking 17 trips that touch down on 4 continents at a price tag approaching $200,000. Not to be outdone, Representative Gene Green only traveled 5 times, but his 4 trips to Israel and 1 to Germany averaged $25,000 a pop.
Hi, this is Ted Cruz.
Senator Ted Cruz likes taking free foreign trips too, traveling to Estonia earlier this spring and Mexico last year. In fact, that Mexican trip raised unique questions we hoped the senator would answer.
The first time I called, I couldn't even get you all on the phone.
See, there's one more loophole. It allows friends to pay for trips. Senator Cruz's friend Alejandro Junco, a Mexican media mogul and billionaire, paid $9,000 to fly the senator to this beach resort on Junco's private jet. Only there's a catch. This Senate rule says the Ethics Committee must approve the trip, a rule Cruz didn't follow. Now he won't explain why.
I even sent an email with a series of questions that I was hoping to get answers to.
If you're waiting to see Cruz punished for his apparent rule violation, Wilson says don't hold your breath.
For a whole host of reasons, people tend to hate Congress.
That's because the House and Senate police themselves when it comes to matters like these, and the hammer of punishment rarely comes down.
Members of Congress are going to be loath to hold their fellow representatives accountable because they too may be subject then to the same rules.
Recently, a group of lawmakers in the House tried changing the rules when it comes to disclosing this type of foreign congressional travel, but that move failed miserably, so at the moment, all the records are still available to the public. That being said, it still took News 4 almost 2 weeks to put together our database on this type of travel, and there's really no way to tell whether or not lawmakers failed to disclose certain foreign trips. Now, in addition to Senator Ted Cruz, News 4 continues to work trying to get Texas lawmakers on camera to talk about their trips. So far, no luck. If you'd like to look at our entire database on congressional travel, just go to our website, news4sanantonio.com. Reporting in San Antonio, I'm News 4 troubleshooter Stacey Cameron.